she was at a neighbor's house playing and then disappeared from that neighbor's house. My wife had to call the fire and police departments, give them pictures of her, and several hours later we found her in a home in our neighborhood where she had gone, just walked in the front door, walked downstairs, and was watching television.
You know, more and more children in Utah are being diagnosed with autism. Currently, 1 out of every 54 children. This means the likelihood of more children wandering away is also increasing. So what can we do to prevent a defenseless child from becoming a statistic? Well, in part 2 of our Worried About Wandering report, we find out.
For any parent with a child with autism to let go of the stigma that, oh, my kid's broken, that's a hard thing though, but you have to let go of that, and you need to communicate with your neighbors, with your friends, with any support that you have around you.
Laura Jackson's oldest child has autism. And while the 20-year-old is not a high risk for wandering away, preventing that from happening is a top priority in the single mother's home.
Every single door to where it chimes every time. Every time a contact's open, we hear it. We don't have that silenced.
That is a good in-home deterrent, but Laura and autism experts say families with autistic children also need to be able to rely on neighbors, so they need to make them aware.
They see the child all by themselves out on the sidewalk. Stay with them and contact the parent, or walk them home. You know, walk them home, because they shouldn't be by themselves. Children that wander, that's how they get lost, that's how they get hurt, that's how they end up in canals, ditches, things like that.
So what I'll probably do is go look at her data today.
Courtney Mitchell is an autism specialist at Kids on the Move in Orem. She says noticing a child with autism and doing something about it could truly be the difference between life and death.
You know there's an autistic child in the area and you see them alone, say something. It's better to be safe than sorry. If you're a neighbor of a family that has a child with autism, keep an eye out. Just be alert. Think about if it were your child that had this problem and might not be able to communicate that they're lost, or even be concerned that they're lost.
Some families who have children with autism are turning to GPS tracking devices. In St. George, Project Lifesaver has provided several trackers to help keep tabs on kids who wander. Scott Bean, the CEO of Kids on the Move and father of an autistic child, wishes these trackers were around when his daughter, who is now 25, was much younger.
I consider it to be a blessing to a parent who has a child with autism.
He and others see them as one solution to monitoring children who wander away. And when paired with education, awareness, and community involvement, experts believe we can prevent many autism-related tragedies.
I encourage parents to educate the community, neighbors, church members, anyone that they interact with about autism and about wandering. I definitely think that we as a community need to come together, keep an eye out for these kids, and do our part to help these kiddos that wander.
Wandering isn't just something that happens. A few years ago, it became an official diagnosis. Now, to get more information about autism and wandering and information about Kids on the Move, you can check out this story online at goodforutah.com.